Hey everybody, I'm Mike DeSepoli. Welcome back to the Ask the Advisor show, brought to you by Heritage Financial Advisory Group. So today we want to have a discussion about something that we think has been a long time coming since the onset of COVID-19 here in the United States. There's been a big divide, if you follow the news, about opinions on this topic, with many people believing that this is solely a healthcare crisis and couldn't possibly also be a financial crisis. There's been a stigma in the media, actually, if you think that this is a financial crisis or if you are concerned about the financial impacts of COVID-19 and the subsequent lockdowns, that you for some reason may not care about people, that you have no heart, and that you're just denying science. And I'm here today to tell you that this is both a healthcare and a financial crisis, and anybody that doesn't see it as such is not calling it at face value. And I think it's come about time that we start talking about the financial impacts from some of these lockdown procedures and guidelines set forth by governments, and take a look at the long-term financial impacts that they may have on us here as citizens of the United States of America. Because if we don't start having the financial conversations around this topic, by the time we come around to it, it might be too late to reverse some of the damage that's already been done. Now, it goes without saying that people during recessions will deal with some hardships, and there will be some changes in behavior, particularly in financial behavior. But what we're dealing with here is a much far different scenario, because this is a forced imposed lockdown created by our governments. Now, look, governments relied on science and they relied on models that predicted that millions of people would die from COVID, so we understand why they felt the need to take drastic responses. But it is also time to acknowledge that those models have not come to fruition, and we need to change course before it is too late. Now, many people will point to the social distancing or lockdowns as the reason why the death toll has not risen as high as previously estimated. And that might be the case, but it might not. And we really won't know for several months, if not years down the line, until science has an opportunity to explore this further. But what we do know is that these lockdown policies have created economic devastation. We're seeing unemployment rates soar into the millions, the tens of millions. We know that every week that businesses remain closed, that 2.5% of all United States small businesses will close their doors and never reopen. We also know that when kids are unable to go to school due to the lockdowns, that's for some kids that rely on school for nourishment and for social programming, they are severely lacking in those areas as well. So there's a mental, physical, and economic toll that comes about from recessions, and it begs the question, when we're forcing this recession upon ourselves, is at what point is enough enough, and at what point is it time to acknowledge the facts on the ground and change course? Now, I am optimistic that people around this country are waking up to the fact that while COVID-19 is certainly something to be taken serious, and we need to be careful about it, it is not something worth destroying an economy that has taken many, many, many years to build. And this is where I think we need to strike the balance between being smart and being careful, but also not creating a level of damage economically in this country that will take us years, if not decades, to get out from underneath. Now, just a couple of things to consider, right, when we have recessions, and this is not the first recession we've seen, but albeit it is the first one we have created by our own doing. And there's a lot of things that change during recessions. I'm not going to go through all of them here. Jobs and unemployment, that's an easy one. Business opportunities disappearing for small business owners, we know that happens too. But there's also a lot of lifestyle changes for people. When people have reduced incomes, they mean that they have less money for dining, for entertainment, for things that stimulate family units and help kids grow and learn. We also know that real estate values will decline, and in this particular instance, business owners are having trouble paying rent to the landlords because they have no business right now due to being forcibly closed by the government. We also know that education takes a hit, not just because grade school children that rely on school are unable to go there right now, but we know that some families are unable to pay for secondary college education when recessions hit. So as you can see, that this is by all means both a healthcare and a financial crisis, and I believe if we don't start treating it as such and look at the damage that can be inflicted on both sides of that argument, and not just one, that we will be dealing with the fallout from this for many years to come. So again, I am not a doctor, and I want to say, just before we go any further, that we tip our hats to all the healthcare frontline workers. You guys are the true MVPs. We thank you for your tireless service, and we root for you to pull through this together and be stronger on the other side. But at the very same time that we're having the healthcare discussion, I think it's very important that we take a look, we wake up, and we look at what we're doing to ourselves economically and ask ourselves, is this worth it, right? Like we've said for many times, the cure cannot be worse than the illness itself. And if we're going to create a level of economic devastation here in this country, we have to make sure the science is backing up these decisions that we're making. As of right now, it's going to be hard to see. We may not know for many years to come. But this is our 2 cents on the fact that, yes, this crisis can be both healthcare and financial, and it is not or should not be a stigma to discuss the financial side of this equation. That does not mean we don't care about people. That does not mean we don't care about lives. We do very much so. But we greatly understand the impact that some of this financial devastation can have. So again, we think it's important to flatten the curve, not the economy. We welcome any feedback that you have. If you have any questions on this topic or you have something you want to throw your 2 cents in, we would love to hear it. Reach out to me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you back next time.